And welcome to the Lunatic Housewife Rambles Veterans video for Friday, July 29th, 2011. Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Anyway, yes, so I really don't have a scheduled itinerary to talk about today, other than the fact that that's Tula. My life is just craziness. Stop that. Anyway, yes, there's really nobody here. It was just Eric knocking on the wood just to see how my life is. It's just really messy. But I really wanted just to babble on about the fact that I'm 44 years old, and people that are my age really should have a financial security in their life, and I have absolutely none.
Heimer's financial security.
That voice in the background is not God. That is my husband and sidekick, Eric.
And toy.
And I don't even know what he said. Those are my dogs trying to get back in. Yeah, we really are not savers, and I feel very bad about that because the reason being is this: it's my fault. Really, this is what it is. When Eric and I met one another, he was a great saver. He loves to put money aside. And I have never been a saver. I'm just a horrible human being that way. Because what happens is, okay, let me give you an example here. This is a menu. Okay. And towards the beginning of my menu, I get very excited about it. And as you notice, I like to cross things off. But towards the bottom of the menu, I have things like grilled cheese with Noodle Roni. Noodle Roni is a box of crap.
Why do you buy it?
I buy it because we're always broke. And it is a catch-22. We are always broke because by the time we get to the grilled cheese and Noodle Roni on my menu, I pout. And when we get to that point, and I know I need to make grilled cheese and Noodle Roni, I lay in my bed and think, I don't want to make it. And the sad thing about Noodle Roni, it is this box of dry noodles, and you have to add milk and water and a packet of powdery crap, and the box costs like 99 cents. And for some horrifying reason, I suck at it. I have yet to make a successful box of Noodle Roni. So I pout. So every time we get to that part of my menu, I don't want to make it. So Eric comes home on Noodle Roni night, and I lay in bed, and he goes, so what's for dinner? And I say, grilled cheese and Noodle Roni. And I don't feel like making it. So what do? We pull out the handy-dandy credit card and go out for an expensive dinner.
Expensive? Where do we go when we go out for dinner?
Denny's.
And that's
I'm so ashamed. But it used to be someplace like Ruth Chris or like a steakhouse. But that is why now we're broke. Because we get to the bottom of my 2-week menu to like the one-hit wonder meals, like Sloppy Joe's and Tater Tots, and I wouldn't want to make it. And so I pout, and he takes me out to dinner.
Go put them on your list then.
It's all my fault. We are broke because I pout over tater tots and Noodle Roni. And so it's a vicious circle because we're always broke, and I have to put something cheap and crappy on my menus because we're always broke, so I end up putting Noodle Roni on there. And we never make it. Hence, the Noodle Roni sits in my cupboard for like a year and a half.
Not that long.
Well,
maybe a month.
3 months. And then when we finally make it, like this last week, I made the Noodle Roni, and Eric's looking at the pan of Noodle Roni. And he's like, what's wrong with the Noodle Roni? And I'm like, it will get hard in a minute. It has to sit. It has to simmer. I'm following the directions.
But you turned the stove off.
It told me to. The box said, let it sit in its own simmering, nasty, greasy sauce.
We had to turn the stove back on.
Piece of shit, Noodle Roni. Anyway, so I'm kind of depressed. I was looking at my husband, and he looked exhausted and tired, and I said, what's wrong? And he says, I'm worried about money. And I'm like, it's my fault. It's all about the Noodle Roni. So that's one of the things I've been concerned about lately. And so tonight, we went out, and I made turkey sandwiches and homemade little lemon cookies with little lemon curd. And we had Fritos.
The cheap ones.
The cheap $1-a-pack Fritos. Which are actually better than the Frito-Lay ones. I'm sorry. These are greasier and crispier. And we had grapes and soda pop.
Where did we have?
At the park, and we listened to a band, a city band, and we were eaten alive by more mosquitoes, which you can't, which I wrote about this week. But you can't really see my mosquito bites because it was another thought I had because I have a lot of hair on my arm, which reminded me of a story about how one day while we were in church and things were very quiet and Austin was petting my arms, and it was a very quiet part of the Catholic Mass where the priest gets up during the homily and speaks about the readings. And Austin looked at my arms, and very loudly he said, Mom, when I get money for my birthday, I'm going to make sure you get your arms waxed. Because you have very hairy arms. So everybody about 4 pews in front and 4 pews behind knew that I had the hairiest arms in the entire church. And I'm like, thank you, dear. Now listen to the priest downstairs. How can you get upset with his son when he wants to give you a nice little gift like that? Anyway, so that's all I have to say. Not only am I broke, but I'm hairy.
You're rich in love, aren't you?
I'm so rich in love.
You better say that.
Anyway, from my house to yours, you have a very nice week. Love ya. Have a good one. See you next week.